Mr. Holmes, I
am a traveller, judging by the quaint cut of your cloth. A foreign tailor? Overcoat Campbell. No, Cameron. A Celt.
And?
The openness of your hands conveys honesty, which you most certainly are, but...
Yes?
You have an edge.
Actually, I'm here to help you. By executive order of Scotland Yard.
This is not Scotland Yard documentation. A fake.
I'm a policeman.
Obviously not the plainclothes unit. Doctor, I'm...
Everything that I would have expected.
You are a curiosity. You may accompany me. I'm short a companion.
I'm the companion.
Oh yeah, that's right. What you just heard there was just merely a snippet of what they would call the Doctor Who Doc Journey audio play. This exciting new audio adventure series from AmAudioMedia. This Wholock audio drama features not only Doctor Who, but also Sherlock Holmes in a spine-tingling, terrifying story. This is Mr. J from the Droids You Are Looking For Canada telling you that you need to listen to the Dark Journey. I am not a Doctor Who fan, and I love this show! You have to go check out these people. This radio play is full of a cast featuring some of the finest acting in time and space with Andrew Chalmers, which I've had an opportunity to speak with, Katie Forrest, Roy Miranda, Larissa Benfrey, and with a special appearance by himself, one of the actual doctors, Tom Baker. That is insane! You gotta listen to find out what happens to Sherlock and his companion, the Doctor Who, on the dark journey through the 19th century England as they come face to face with Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper. Makes me want to listen to it already. Doesn't it make you want to listen to it? Of course you can. You want to listen to free episodes, cast and info, and more? Go to AM Audio Media online at amaudiomedia.com.
Welcome to the Droids Canada podcast. On Facebook, on Twitter, on G+, and now Instagram. And the podcast starts now.
What the fuck is the internet?
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Toasty!
They're gonna feel pretty stupid when they find out. Find out what? They're fucking with the wrong people.
Okay.
Skype knows.
Oh no.
I think they know. Because
I'm sorry.
It's all your fault. They know everything. I don't know what happened because you guys dropped, and then my Skype decided to update multiple times. So
I had that last week as well. Decided to update, and I was like, "Oh, geez, that's not." Yeah.
in the middle of a call, but
Yeah.
thanks.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Cannot wait. Yeah.
Rainer, do I got you?
Yep.
All right, and the audio sounds 10 times better. All right. Sorry, guys. I am so sorry that this is taking.
No problem at all.
Don't worry about
No,
it. It's just nice to
it's
hear your
okay.
voice.
It's going to be 10 times easier when I actually have a microphone in front of you on Sunday. Then the
Yes,
Skype call
sure.
won't drop. Okay.
Yeah.
And if it does, that'll be really awkward.
That would be awkward.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Just drop the microphone just to say the call dropped.
Someone's
yeah. Thanks, Raina. Is rad for that suggestion. Thank you.
someone
Welcome.
cosplaying as the
It's a
Skype
rad
symbol.
suggestion.
It is a radical suggestion.
You guys, do you guys like Sherlock?
I haven't caught. I didn't catch any of the new season yet. I don't know why, but I do enjoy it.
Okay. Because I've got. It's a shame you can't see these, but I've got two. I've got two figures here, Sherlock and Watson, signed by Benedict and Martin Freeman. They're right behind Mike. They're from the Big Chief Studios that do quite not exactly economical action figures, but they're very, very good. And they do sign ones. I have a Tom Baker as well. So anyway, that's completely irrelevant. Just the Big Chief.
Sherlock is awesome. So.
Shout out to Big Chief. Yeah, exactly. It's a shame you can't see them. They are awesome.
They're big.
They're big. Yeah, they're big. This could be cut together in a way that would incriminate us.
That's okay. Worst things have been
It's okay
said.
for you. You're
They could always
doing the cutting.
They could take it out.
Yes,
Good.
and
Okay.
and it appears I have a lot of things to edit since this has been a rocky start.
Yeah. They have to
yeah.
insert it in.
Don't say stuff like that.
Sorry.
Say stuff like that.
Now they got it.
You know, it's
There
you know, it's hard for me to do that.
So I think that I've listened to all the episodes of the Dark Journey. Pretty fantastic. Like binge listened. I guess I can't say binge watch. Binge listened. Really great job, guys. Like it was a really good show. The ending was pretty good, especially. I really liked episode 4. I don't know why. I think it was because there was that moment where the Doctor had like a very human moment, and like, oh, because is that something that always happens in like a Doctor Who Doctor? They have that one very human moment where they're really sad, I guess I would say, or
I think that's every episode.
oh, maybe
Like that's Doctor Who. Like he's in constant search of redemption. So if that's what you mean, Todd.
Yeah, I guess that's where I was going with.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, like I said, I am new to your universe, so be
Yeah,
gentle. Very
Yeah.
I'm never gentle.
That could be cut together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh, I'm totally putting that against her on that play for sure.
Yeah, once again, there we go.
Bring
So, what moment were you meaning there, Todd? Was that the rooftop scene with Emily?
Yes.
Right. No, I think Raina hit the nail kind of bang on the head, really. What Mike and I would like to think is that perhaps we've maybe like put the volume up on that aspect of our Doctor, quite a bit. And of course, now I'm speaking with the knowledge that we've kind of produced the end of it. We've written the last 4 episodes, so obviously we're aware of things that haven't been committed to audio yet. But it's very personal for the Doctor. I know that the Noble Project is mentioned,
Right.
and stuff like that. But it is, it's you see more of him in the last 4 episodes than you did in the previous 5. It's very raw, I would say, visceral, emotional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really stripped back to an emotional kind of need, and in the end, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that it was really deep, and I really enjoyed the scene that occurred, and it was fantastic. Like, I'm not that type of person that gets into that type of genre, I guess I would say, but it was very touching, and it was very you can definitely feel the emotion. Like, it's one thing to watch it on TV, but it's another thing to hear it, and you can definitely hit the nail on the head during that, and it was fantastic. Because I was like, of course, I was working doing 6,000 things at once, and I literally had to stop everything just to go through that scene, because for me it had such an intensity to me that I needed to completely have my focus to it, which is pretty awesome.
Well, it's awesome to hear, I'll tell you that. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. You guys, I think I said this on the last podcast as well, very well put together. Audio was amazing, to say at least. Borderline jealous. There's a lot of things that I can do. A lot of everything that I'm able to do is very self-taught, but there's a lot of things, like Rainer is very good with audio as well.
Right, yes, I remember that, yes.
But I mean, just the caliber that you guys set per every episode is just absolutely astounding. Now, how many episodes are you guys aiming to have?
Well, at the moment, we've got 9. We've got 9 which form the whole arc. At the end of the 9th episode, you would have basically, that would be the end of what you would consider to be the Holmes and the Doctor Who and the Jack the Ripper and the Illuminatus and Cassandra. They would be the end of that. So 9 episodes to resolve what's going on in Victorian London, big time, really. So 9 at the moment, which is kind of, I was trying to get to 10, but the way the story just worked out, it just ended up being 9. So, 9 episodes. And we find out what, it could almost be, it could almost be the end of a series, or it could almost be the beginning of a series, if you know what I mean. But that will only become apparent when you hear the next 4 episodes.
Or when the BBC sues us.
Yes, or when the BBC sues us.
I don't know. It depends. Like, I don't think they'll sue you guys. If anything, what they should do is pay homage to the work you're putting towards it. Like, there's a lot of tribute things that exist out there, and for someone to spend the amount of time you guys do putting it together, it should be kind of like, they're technically not supposed to do this, but this is actually really cool, and that they pieced everything together. And that's something that I basically admire. I mean, there's just no way out of that. And if I had the time, which I wish I did, I would do something like that, but unfortunately I don't. So far, here's a question for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite part so far you've done? Like, if you had to pick a scene out of the episodes you've completed, what is the best one that you think you've done?
I really like the first encounter with Holmes and the Doctor, where they first are sort of battling it out, sort of who will be the alpha dog between the two of them. And I think the Doctor sort of laughingly almost submits himself to Holmes, and you sort of set up or at least to the audience anyways, and you sort of set up the Doctor as the companion dynamic, which I've never seen in the series or seen anywhere really with Doctor Who. So I would say that would be my favorite. Yeah.
I would say the scene. There's a couple. I think the Emily scene on the roof, I think, seems to be a big favorite with people, and I think that primarily, Kate Forrest, who plays Emily, I think really nails the part down. I mean, it's all very well writing the words, but if they can't be communicated in a way that gets across the emotion of it, then you really don't have anything at all. So I always love that scene.
Yeah, if you could have been there on the day of the recording too, the cast, we were all there, but the cast, they all went silent when that scene went off. And I think they only did maybe 2 takes of it, or maybe it was even less than that, one and a bit. But everyone was just so mesmerized by the live take. It was like we knew, okay, this is the scene. We just kind of knew. Like, I had my earphones on. I was like, whoa, this is really good.
Yeah. I looked over at one stage, and Mike had tears in his eyes, but I later discovered it was because he was hungry and the pizza was coming. That was it. Really.
That was it. Yeah.
And I'd also say the ending. Really, it's kind of obvious, but I think the stakes are very high at the end. Obviously, and you've got all the major players are in there, and of course, what we hope would be a surprise with Cassandra being the main villain as opposed to Gull. The Doctor basically copping it on a Victorian street. The reveal of the fact that Emily has a child. Emily's being kidnapped. So we like to do cliffhangers in a way that are very, like, you have to build up to like a huge crescendo. And really, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at the end, which I think is quite exciting. I mean, we have the reveal of Cassandra. We've got the fact Emily's being kidnapped. She has a baby, which explains the vision that the Doctor saw. Holmes is completely out of his league. He's saying to the Doctor, I don't know what to do, which is a very interesting thing. And the Doctor basically is going to die, and the Watchers have come back to take him back to Gallifrey. And it ends on a very eerie kind of note where everything just appears to die. Which I guess in effect it sort of does, and full marks to Clayton, our sound guy, for doing that, because that was something which is very eerie to listen to. I mean, I read a review or one of the comments on one of the websites saying that in the last 5 minutes someone had listened to it and they couldn't sleep or something, which I thought was kind of interesting. I think the end is quite scary, actually. I don't know, but I mean, we're so close to it, right? But I think the end is quite scary. And when I listened to it with my wife, Linda, I looked over and Linda was sort of like, she looked visibly kind of upset about this. And I said, are you upset because you can imagine me like sort of copying it, like on a street in Victorian London? And she said to me, it's the way you said, I'm so sorry. at the end, which actually was Clayton's suggestion, to do it that way, because I went over to the place where we recorded it and I tried various versions of doing it. But it was Clayton's idea to actually have it in that way. And when you listen to it, I don't know. I mean, we're not professionals or anything, but there's something about it, I think. I don't know. There's something emotional about it, I think. Yeah.
I think my favorite, and it's going to come back to the promo, only because your voice was just perfect, is when the doctor said to you, okay, you can be my companion, and you're like, I'm a companion? Like, that makes me laugh every time I hear it. Because it's just,
right.
I can see your face of utter shock.
Yes, and a little bit of joy.
I definitely, I'm sure that if the opportunity ever arose, I'm sure me and Rainer would love to come down and watch you guys do a live recording. I'm a huge fan of voice acting, so to get to see it live would be a treat to me, I guess I would say. Because I watch all different types of voice acting, whether it's for cartoons or other things like that, and when you just see how much someone could put into something just by the sheer tone or reflection of their voice, it's just absolutely amazing, and I enjoy seeing it every single time.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, once again, thank you for, Mike and I don't have a terrific amount of experience, just a love of obviously doing this and having a go. So, it's nice to get these kind of, kind of feedback and
from people like you guys who actually know about all this kind of stuff, sound and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just this whole experience, has been wonderful, really. But I mean, to me, there's nothing better than just establishing links and relationships with other people,
Right.
Not just Whovians, but people who, take the time to talk to us and everything. And it's fantastic. So, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I like to carry that philosophy because there was a time where, well before we even had a podcast, that we were just a small entity trying to grow. And
trying to find a way.
We
right?
had a few people help us along the way, some local people. So that's what I personally, and I know Raider does as well, we carry the pay it forward philosophy, just help everyone we can. It goes a long way. It could be a 10-second promo, but you know what? That can increase your attention by about 5 people. That's 5 more people that can go, hey, check this out. Like, you know what I mean? Just with our podcast, because when we first started our podcast, Rainer wasn't even on the page yet. Rainer came in, I think it was the 5th episode.
Oh, right.
I don't remember. When did you come in, Rainer?
It was about that. I just never left.
You just never left.
It's
funny how she became a part of our page, because we had her on a couple episodes here and there, and we just thought she was absolutely hilarious when she gets angry. So
I don't think we've had the benefit of angry.
Oh no.
Rainer yet.
No.
It's funny when it happens.
Apparently it's absolutely hilarious, and yet my blood is just boiling, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're funny," and I'm like, "Ah."
Yeah, I don't know. Because in saying that, I know you're an Eccleston fan, but I didn't think he was very good in the role. I thought he was too normal to play the Doctor, and I think he handicapped the future of Doctor Who in his first year by attempting something which I don't think he should have done.
Ooh.
That's a burn.
But
that's your opinion.
I'm trying to get you mad, love. I love Eccleston.
know.
I'm trying to get you mad. I'm very transparent. Go crazy. They're not having it. They will not be.
No, there's buzzwords. I'm not allowed to say
droids
them.
will not be manipulated.
Yeah, he's not allowed to say the buzzwords. Only our other the other admin Brian he just keeps pressing those buttons.
It really is a funny story. She left the room, came back, and we said, "You're hired." What? Yeah, you're on the page now. Deal with it. Oh, okay. You're never leaving ever again. That's pretty much the extent of our hiring process for Rainer. But yeah, we keep Rainer on because she's absolutely hilarious. You just got to know what to say, how to say it, and you just sit back and just watch the fireworks. That's pretty much the easiest way to put it.
Right.
Now, is there anything from what you've done thus far you would do differently? Is there? I guess one question I had from the last podcast is, what intrigued you to bring in Jack the Ripper? Jack the Ripper is a very interesting character to me and always has been over all different universes and what have you. Why Jack the Ripper? I'm just curious.
Well, I saw a movie a long, long, long time ago called Murder by Decree.
Okay.
Which starred Christopher Plummer, quite a well-known Canadian actor,
Absolutely,
as Sherlock Holmes, and it was directed by a gentleman called Bob Clark, who directed A Christmas Story, which is the one where the kid and his dad, and he gets a lamp, and it's a leg lamp, and he's got Fragile on it, and dad says Fragile. So he went from like doing this Christmas classic story to doing this Murder by Decree. Murder by Decree I found incredibly frightening, because it's a movie I would recommend to anyone who's into that. It's probably 1980-ish, but Christopher Plummer was a very, very real Holmes, and he did a few things. He was so outraged at someone incarcerating a woman in a sanitarium against her wishes that he tried to strangle the guy. And I sat there, I was probably about 10, and I sat there and thought, wow, that's like a wild, characterization. But the way they did the Ripper, which it's basically Holmes versus the Ripper, the way they did the Ripper was very, very frightening. So, I also my mum's from Leeds in Yorkshire, England, and of course, they had a Yorkshire Ripper as well. So the Yorkshire Ripper terrorized Leeds and Yorkshire as well. So I think it's always that sort of figure that hides in the shadows. But I always like the idea of what motivated Jack the Ripper, as opposed to him just doing all his horrible stuff. What's behind him? What would push him to do, not necessarily push him, but what would make him do these things? What would he be in compliance with? And I guess that's where the bigger story comes in.
Definitely. I am very intrigued by Jack the Ripper myself. There were so many different variations. Even, I think one of the last variations of him was the movie From Hell with Johnny Depp, which was very graphic.
The Hughes brothers,
And I just when I first started listening to it, I'm like, okay, the Doctor versus Jack the Ripper. This is an interesting angle. I'll give this a good listen, and I really enjoyed it. Because I see from a couple of the episodes I've seen of Doctor Who, they're quite out there. Whether if it has to deal with a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which that kind of threw me for a loop today, and just with everything else from the Eccleston era coming forward, just like that's one thing I like about Doctor Who is that, from what I've seen thus far, is that you just don't know what's going to happen next. There's always something that could be completely different and make you think, I guess I would say.
Yes. I think that's the great thing about sci-fi period, is that you could take whatever you want and make it into something that is, like you said, completely out there. And that's why I think people enjoy it, because it's such a bend on everything that you know. Yes.
I think from the point of view of Mike and I sort of writing and doing the episodes, when you're faced with a scenario where anything goes, it can be liberating in a way, because you can just explain anything away that's going on, right? Yeah. But at the same time, though, if you can explain everything away, it sometimes takes the urgency and the cost out of the story in terms of, well, if anything can happen, then where's the drama? Mm-hmm. So it becomes almost like an advantage and almost like a disadvantage as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think sometimes, too, even with sci-fi stuff, they cheat a bit. It's sort of, they cheapen the story sometimes by just explaining things away with sort of a magic wand kind of retcon.
We reset the universe.
We reset this, or something came in here and fixed everything, or it was all on the holodeck, or there's this very I think if it's not set in some sort of if there's not a reality within that world, if there's not consequences to what happens, there's no point in listening. Of course, it's all made up in the end, but the characters themselves, there needs to be a reality set in place, which I think that we have within our series, but is not always there in sci-fi. Sometimes it gets a bit too kind of carried away with itself almost.
Yeah, I was always puzzled by the ending of Superman the movie, because once again, I'm going back to the
classic movie.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
And because he flies around the Earth, and Lois Lane comes back, and And I thought if you flew around the Earth, you wouldn't reverse time. You'd actually destroy the Earth. There would be huge tidal waves. You know what I mean? And there has to be a cost to things that you do. And if you get too involved in gimmicks, it can be a problem, I think, because you start to cheapen things like, well, he's dead. No, he isn't. He's dead again.
No, he's alive again.
He's alive again. Okay. She's dead. No, she isn't. You know, you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And that kind of reminds me of something when I was a kid that really blew my mind. I remember watching, I think it was Star Trek 4, The Journey Home, and they slingshot around the sun to go back in time. And I just never had my mind blown going, that's all you have to do? Like, I didn't understand. Like, I didn't even reverse time. We just went around the sun once. The next thing that we're back in the 70s. I don't get it. What's happening? 10-year-old child, mind blown, trying to understand the world.
Yes, I know.
But at least with Doctor Who, it kind of gives you that, this is why it's going to happen this way. Prepare yourself.
Yes.
They tried to explain a lot of things, from what I've seen anyways. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert whatsoever. So, ultimately, what is the goal of this season? Are we going to do 9 episodes and call it, or is there going to be another season? I know I'm already asking for too much, but I'm curious. Yeah,
you can't. It's like you can't stick your hooks into people and be like, "We're done," because I'm going to cry.
Yeah, because I mean, from what I listened to so far, now I'm like,
I look forward to this. Like, listen to episode 5, and
will it make you angry though, Rainer?
Yeah, we get sad Rainer. We get crying Rainer, but we don't get angry Rainer. But it could be.
It's starting.
She could be like the wardrobe.
You know what? I can guarantee that there will be some Rainer rage.
Oh my god, this is
this is it. After episode 9, I'm going to be like, okay, guys, what the shit? What is wrong with this? Why?
What is wrong with you, Mike and Andrew?
Yes. Well, I think due to Todd's journalistic prodding, I think I will have to admit that there are thoughts, there are ideas beyond series 1 and 2, but it'll just kind of depend on fan interest, I think, and if people want to hear more, then there might be more ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we have an arc for what effectively would be a season planned out.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Well, okay. You asked a question, and I will
answer the question, Mr. Chalmers.
I will refuse to answer
the question
on the grounds of
how many lights are there?
Oh my god. I would
shit just got intense.
I'm like death now. I would probably say
TNG.
Yeah, TNG.
Yeah.
I would probably. I don't get it.
You made a Star Trek reference.
I know what.
How many lights?
What are you talking about, dude?
When they were interrogating, Todd knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Well, was it Data?
Yep.
No, Picard.
Okay. So, Raina, I do have to apologize for these two Trekkies. I do have to apologize.
I'm not a Trekkie. I'm not a Trekkie either, so don't worry.
Everyone watched Next Generation.
Flash of anger.
Everybody watched Next Generation.
Flash of anger.
No choice.
The next episode potentially could be called Skinwalkers.
Oh.
And it could involve Native American shape-shifting shaman and the introduction of a new companion called Cheyenne. There could also be an episode where the Doctor ends up in basically the Highland clearances in medieval Scotland, where he partners up with Jamie McCrimmon's grandfather. Jamie McCrimmon is an old companion, to take on a human version of Davros, who, before he was incapacitated in his wheelchair thing, as he's trying to find the human gene that will make his Daleks invincible. So there's a couple of episodes that we've thought about. There's a Cyberman that steals a baby when he rediscovers his humanity, and he's chased by a mob, like very Frankensteinish, and that's where the cold open would end. They're sort of chasing him up an alleyway, and we see a Cyberman in the shadows, and he's rocking a baby in his metallic arms. So there's a few stories we've tried to do. Random deaths in a care home for seniors. What do we do as a society? We send senior people to die in a home. So if they start dying excessively, who's there to defend them?
Is that the comedy episode?
That's the musical one.
Oh, it's the musical one.
Yeah, we're geriatric and we're dead. we're geriatric, and we're dead. So there you go.
Yeah.
So there's a few, but at the end of it all, it would result in the Doctor going to
Stop!
Well,
Stop!
oh, no, okay,
Almost gave away too
whatever.
much.
We're trying to get. We're trying. I mean, there's been so many Doctor Who stories, but we try to go for something a little bit darker.
Well, I can honestly tell you without asking Rainer, she's already sold.
Right.
I like the idea of the skinwalkers. I'm into that kind of stuff.
Do you like the whole? Do you have like, do you know about that, like the whole skinwalker thing? And it's very spooky.
From what I understand, like learning about it, there were two different types of of skinwalkers. One was shapeshifters, and that can take shape of anything, and then the other one was they take shape of one particular animal. So,
yes,
and I know that it is based on the Navajo tribe, but
yes,
yeah. So yeah, I know quite a bit about it, and I've read quite a few different stories, and it creeped me out. I like it.
Yeah, it's very. It is. I have a few books on the subject, and I do have a fascination with this Native American stuff, and the skinwalkers in particular. But I can actually share a secret with you, if I may.
Oh, I don't know. You gonna get in trouble this time?
No.
Okay.
I've seen them. And I'm not joking.
Dun.
I'm not joking.
You've seen them.
I've seen them.
Okay.
I've seen a skinwalker.
Are they supposed to have really big eyes?
No, this one didn't. It had smallish eyes. Because I think it was hunting.
That's creepy.
It is creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is creepy. We live next to some cornfields, and there's some interesting phenomenon that you can pick up with a night vision camera.
This is very interesting to say.
This is pretty creepy, eh?
I don't know what to say.
This is pretty creepy. This is pretty creepy.
Welcome to the Droids podcast.
Yeah, apparently.
Mine's just got blown, yo.
We're turning into alien hunters. That's what's going on right now.
Alien hunters, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about all this too, and I think that the interesting thing that Andrew kind of brings to the project too is he's familiar with all of these various weird, strange things that are out there, and if all this stuff is out there, there must be something to it, right? So
that's what I always.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's all to it, but I mean,
Well, clearly you picked the right guy
see
to be
things,
the
people hear things. There's all kinds of stuff out there, but it's all very well and good to see people say, "Oh, I had a really lucky day. I must have been really, lucky today." We all believe in luck and kind of simple things, right? Yeah. But everybody's kind of reluctant to sort of even open their mind, even mildly or slightly, to these things that are maybe a little bit darker, a little bit spookier. So I don't know.
I'm total. Well, see, I call myself a skeptical believer. I've had things happen, and I like talking about this stuff because we're getting closer to Halloween, so it's like scary stories. Oh my! But anyway, I've had stuff happen where I can't explain it, but at the same time, if something happens, I try and think it logically. But I have a collection of books on different haunted places in the world, and I've read of werewolves and skinwalkers and poltergeists, and yeah, you name it. I've read up on quite a bit of things, and I like learning about it. It's just, whether I believe in it or not, it's still fascinating to read about.
What about the Mothman?
The Mothman, isn't that the one in
Point Pleasant or something?
What's that?
Point Pleasant or something? There was a movie with Richard Gere.
Yeah.
Which almost sounds to be self-defeating the minute I say it. It was a movie with Carrot Top. But no, the movie is actually very, very good. It was done about 2000, I think. But when you get into that whole Mothman, I know we're sort of on topic, but it's very, very strange. The book was written by John Keel, who was an investigator, and he went to Point Pleasant, and it's just like a big hotspot for all sorts of stuff. But basically there was this big winged creature that appeared to all the people in the town, and it basically warned people about some kind of a major disaster. And the town underwent two major disasters. There was a big explosion at some kind of factory that manufactured chemicals, and then a bridge collapsed.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what? That's another thing which you read and you're like, oh my God, this is like, it's addictive, but at the same time, it's quite freaky, you know?
And it gets your imagination going.
Absolutely.
I used to write a lot as a kid, and that's like actually horror movies and things like this were my inspiration because I grew up having a lot of nightmares. And the things like the Silent Hill games were the things I used to have nightmares about. So,
really?
Oh yeah, like I don't know what was wrong with me, but I had a lot of nightmares. And the thing that actually interests me the most was the Jersey Devil.
Oh, the Jersey Devil. Yeah, okay.
It's people try and go investigate, they don't get anything, and yet you actually read about encounters way back in the day. Way back in the early 1800s, and it's like, how come no one can catch anything now? What happened to it? You know, so that's the kind of thing that I read about. Like, how come there hasn't been any recent encounters, and yet back in the day there used to be all these things. But then again, a lot of mental illness wasn't diagnosed at the time, so they could have very well been on some kind of acid trip.
Yes, and there were very relaxed alcohol laws as well. What about Spring-Heeled Jack? He's another weird. Have you ever heard of that guy?
No, actually.
Spring-Heeled Jack, I think he sprang around London. And what people used to do was he used to jump so high, like they used to see him, and he used to be able to jump incredible heights and go across rooftops. And there was also reports, I think of the same entity, where people would open their door and it would spray a chemical into your face. And make you all, sort of out of your mind and, disorientated.
Were they selling water heaters?
No, they were not.
I've had those guys come to my door.
They were selling encyclopedias.
Yeah. They say they're from the ministry, but they're not.
They're not. And then next thing you know, you got a face full of salt.
Oh,
yeah. Exactly. Spring-Heeled Jack's another one, which is incredibly strange. Raina's probably going to go and check this out, but
yes, I am. I'm gonna Google this.
Yeah, Spring-Heeled Jack, Mothman prophecies, all that kind of stuff, and and in these things is an opportunity to make stories.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, well, what's the take on this? And if we turn this whole thing 360 and go back to Todd's original question about Jack the Ripper, I think pursuing the Ripper through the streets of London with some kind of mystery is a good thing. To do, but in saying that, we kind of leave all that behind as we start episode 6, and then we see exactly how he fits into, I would say, like a larger plan, which is fun, right? Because you don't really want 9 episodes of
dreariness. And really, I mean, I think our main goal too with the series is we just want Jack the Ripper caught. I think it's time. I think there's been enough investigations.
Get him.
Just find him already.
Just bring him in.
Just bring him in.
Just put him on CNN.
Yeah.
With the Kardashians and get his ass caught.
Yeah. What? Enough of this with the websites and the TV series. Find the guy.
Just find the guy.
He's somewhere.
So we're going to catch him.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Yeah.
And that's a first for the droids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Caught Jack the Ripper via audio play. Well played, boys.
Thanks a lot, dude.
No problem. I actually did forget what my question was, and you just reminded me what my question was.
I'm really not surprised. We're excessively rambling.
That's okay. we don't mind. So let's go to Fan Expo. So what's the goal for you guys at Fan Expo? Like, you guys have a booth, from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, our main thing is just to meet the fans and talk to people and stuff, and find out where people, I guess tell more people about Dark Journey, because there's only so much you can do online, right?
Yes.
There's more. I think the face-to-face is always more important. As great as it is to, have, interviews and podcasts and reviews and stuff, if you're not out there meeting people, it's kind of like, it's not a real thing.
It's kind of it's like a redundant thing. Yeah.
So I think that'll be the main thing, and also giving people a chance to hear it. We're gonna have like a sound system set up and stuff for them hear it and stuff. So yeah.
It's just as Mike said there. It's just about reaching people. I mean, this is not something that we were making any money off of. No. I mean, it was just a way of making a story which we thought was interesting and reaching an audience. And it's like I said earlier on, being able to talk about this with people who who want to talk with you is fantastic. Really, I mean, like I said, it's a passion.
Right.
You know, it's a love, and if you can share that with other people, you know, such as your wonderful selves, then that's really all we need, really.
Well, that was kind of like a sticking point for us too, is that we have always been social media, and it wasn't until Toronto Comic Con this year, was it, Rainer, that we really started pushing out for presence out there.
Yeah, that's when we had the cards, and that's when I actually made my first full cosplay. Yay!
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was that you were hoping to sort of, create exposure for the website, or?
Well, yeah, I think.
Cosplaying?
Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, like, Rainer always has had an interest in cosplay, and with the page, we reached the point where a lot of our audience, it's kind of split 50-50. We got a lot of audience in the. We got a lot of audience in the States. We lost them. You there, Rainer?
Yeah.
Well, we lost them. Let's see if we kick them back. I think it kicked them back.
We're here. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, you kind of went off into a void.
No, well, actually, it's funny because it happened to Rainer earlier as well. She missed me on the side. Said, "Did I get kicked off?" No, we brought you back. Skype is afraid.
We have
This just tired me, Todd.
That's twice now that it's dropped and automatically reconnected everybody. So I'll take that as positive. What was I saying? Oh, yes.
So you were saying that you have a split fandom?
Yeah, we have a split fandom. We have 50% in Canada and we have 50% in the States. And I think it's kind of funny because we are a Canadian site and we have a lot of American fans. But it's good because it's good for networking and stuff to that effect. But it was really, this is the year that I think me and Rainer sat down and said, we got to do a huge push here. We got to really get out there. And now we're doing business cards. We're going to be looking to launching a website hopefully before the end of the year.
Brilliant.
We have our own financial dampers as of late, so we've been kind of tied up as well. But we've been looking to grow our own headcount with our administrators, and it's been quite the busy little while. But in Toronto, Comic-Con that happened in March?
Yep.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was March or not. That was the first one we actually walked around. We meet and greet people, took photos of people put it on the page, and we did the same thing for Niagara Falls Comic Con, which was our first media pass, and then we're actually got a media pass for Fan Expo this year, which we're pretty excited about.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited about it. At the same time, though, we were kind of bummed out because we asked for a few media passes. We were only provided one, so I think they're giving us kind of like a trial to see how things work out.
Yeah.
And that's good though, because I mean, how I look at it on one hand too is that you can apply for any media pass now and say, well, I was a media pass at Fan Expo, so that's got to be big now. So
yeah,
that means a lot. Rainer's going Saturday. She's going for pleasure. Who are you going to go meet?
Stanley.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, go on. Who are you going to go meet, Raina?
Stanley.
Ooh.
Stanley who? Stanley Hudson from The Office.
Yes, that's it.
Oh my god,
absolutely.
He's awesome. Yeah.
So you're going to get the autograph? You're going to do the whole thing?
Yeah. What's going on? Are you getting the autograph?
I'm just getting a photo op because photo op and autograph are two different things, and I don't have the money for both of them.
It's an exorbitant amount of cash, isn't it? I was looking earlier on today, and Matt Smith is 110 and 110. He's the most expensive.
Really?
Yeah, the 11th Doctor is the most expensive. Yeah.
Do you not get a doctor discount?
No, I'd probably just say.
You guys got some pull, right? You guys have some pull.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but I'm telling you, the amounts of money were. I thought to myself, my God, they must be. Like the organizers and stuff must be raking it in, I mean, 110. So basically, if you want a picture with an autograph, it's going to cost you $220.
Yep. That sounds about right. Like if you go to like a smaller con, it's not as bad because it is a smaller one. But like Toronto Fan Expo is the big one in Canada.
It is
true.
So I mean that, and I can understand. I don't want to sit there and say that it's a little bit too much because these people, being celebrities, they do a lot of traveling to do the advertising, blah blah blah. But when it comes down to it, like $110, it's kind of hard to justify $110. I think they should take that away and be like, we should have like a set charge of. I don't know, $50-$60. Like, I mean, $50-$60. Fan Expo gets over 1 million people over that weekend come through. That's a lot of money you can make right there.
Yeah, and admission is not cheap either. So
No.
Yeah.
For 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, I'm paying $100 for like $100 in total. I'm like, this is why I couldn't go before. I mean, this is my first Fan Expo, and I look at the prices. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what kept me from going all these years, because I was broke. Like, I didn't have $100 to always spend. And this, this time I put a savings account because I had my rogue costume made by Castle Corsetry, so that was a bit of money. So I said, you know what, this is going to be a Fan Expo thing. So I put a bunch of money aside, and that's where it went. But it's a lot of money, and just for a photo op and 2 tickets, it was almost $200. I'm like, okay.
On both days, are you going to go as Rogue? Both days?
Yeah. I didn't get my other costume. I couldn't finish it, so I'll be Rogue both days.
So she gets to come pick on you guys 2 days in a row.
Nice.
Maybe you guys. Here's the thing, though. She'll be in person, so you guys, I'm telling you, you don't want to make her angry in person. You got nowhere to go. I'm just saying.
Tables.
I really like you guys. I want to have you back on the podcast again, but I don't.
Yeah, we don't want
to
be dead. So yeah.
I was gonna say, is this the first time you guys are?
Sorry.
What's that, Rainer?
I have a mean uppercut, so yeah, just.
Yeah, I don't know firsthand. I'm not allowed to say that. Is this the first time you guys are promoting at a Comic-Con?
Yeah, it is actually. So it's pretty exciting for us. So yeah, we've got the whole thing, business cards and posters and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, we're really looking forward to actually meeting people, because, like as you said, it's really different from interacting with people online and getting that face-to-face connection, right?
Right. Well, when we started, it was all about the cosplayers, the people that walk around dressed up. They're the ones that really motivated us. We advertise a lot for the cosplayers. I don't know if you ever watch our feeds, but I mean, we push for it because you know what, and I always stand by it, and I say this to Rainer too, is that they're the unsung heroes of the con because they walk around dressed up, get their picture taken how many times for nothing.
They are really patient. They'll just pose with anybody, and they're there all day acting out in character and stuff. Yeah,
there's some of it that are just absolutely amazing. I think what was her name? Roxy something or another, Rainer?
Roxy Lee G.
Yeah, she dressed up as what we call a splicer from BioShock. So she's literally running through this Comic-Con barefoot. I'm just like, you're too hardcore for me.
What about the Rufio?
Oh yes, Rufio from Hook. The one with Robin Williams. This guy actually built piece for piece exactly the same. When you look at this, you're just blown away that people spend so much time doing it. But not to get too off track, because this is really about your Fan Expo. We're going to be basically hanging out with you. I hope you guys don't mind. We're going to be there, staring at you.
That's totally fine.
Getting interviews and stuff and things. And
did you say Robin Williams just then?
Yes. That was very hard passing. I don't think we saw that. No one saw that coming, really. But
no.
But then we started hearing things. I don't know if you guys heard, but then they heard after the fact that he was battling Parkinson's or just recently diagnosed. That's very sad.
Yeah. Have you seen Toys?
Toys. It does sound familiar, but I can't place
it. The one with the soldiers.
You think a toy soldier?
Yeah. It's actually directed by Barry Levinson, who did Men in Black.
Okay.
1 to 3. It's one of those sort of like more obscure Robin Williams flicks. Definitely worth checking out, just while we're on that subject.
Yeah.
And also another movie that is kind of one of those ones that floats by is What Dreams May Come.
Absolutely amazing film.
Good.
Now, you've seen that?
Oh, I was when that film came out years ago, I couldn't stop watching it. That movie was just amazing. There's no other way to put it. It really made you question how you look at a lot of things in life. And that film was fantastic. He made so many films that people didn't even know that were just really good. And some of them are really weird. He made this one film called 1 Hour Photo.
Yep.
That was weird.
It was weird. Insomnia?
I heard about it, but I haven't watched it.
Watch it. Well, it's directed by Chris Nolan of Batman fame.
Yep.
And it's him and Al Pacino.
Really?
And it's a remake of a European flick. and probably the European flick is probably superior because they always are. You know,
it's a remake of a Japanese flick.
It's a remake of a Japanese flick, which is a remake of a Hollywood flick, starring Pacino and Robin Williams. Once again, very, very, very strange. Not strange, excellent movie, like a real Hitchcock kind of, thriller. It was very. That was very sad. That was incredibly sad.
Yeah, and it was just like anything else. Like with our page, like I tend to not post deaths on the page because 9 times out of 10 you find out they're not dead. You find out that this is some huge hoax. I think Jackie Chan has died like 20 times in the last 3 years.
He has died a lot of times.
I don't think that man will ever die, just because what he puts himself through and still lives. I think, and then I remember when Paul Walker passed, there was a lot of people that kept saying he was still alive, but then I just basically grew accustomed to it. Well, if it's not on CNN, then I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And then not even a minute after I said this is probably a hoax, it came up on CNN. I was like, ouch. That was pretty intense. But, and another notable movie for him, which a lot of people didn't know what to think about, but I thought was absolutely hilarious, was Death the Smoochie. That movie
filmed in Toronto.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was
that
good.
movie was great because it was during that Barney the dinosaur era.
Yeah,
and it just made things funny. That's absolutely
that was a really good movie, which I almost bought a few weeks ago for $3.99, but they sold it over at Deja Vu Discs
for less or for $3.99.
It was gone. It's a secondhand movie place, and they sold it.
I was actually working on a series. What was I working on? I think I was working on I think it was Jonovision, or it was one of those, I think it was Jonovision, and they were taping Death to Smoochie, and I had a run around of the set, these giant mushrooms and stuff, late at night.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's all. I didn't see the film actually, but I remember the set. I had a good run around the set. Yeah,
giant mushrooms.
Giant mushrooms.
Are you sure it was a set, Mike?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Or did you inhale something?
I think what I find funny is how they easily transform Toronto into New York in almost every film they shoot there.
Yeah. Well, they shot a good portion of that at the CBC inside the broadcast center.
Really?
Yeah.
I Wasn't
I did
Edward Norton in that?
Yeah. I did a tour through the CBC years ago when they were shooting X-Men.
Uh-huh.
And they actually shot the Danger Room in the CBC building, so we got to actually go into what was left of it because they were tearing it down because the film finished at that time. But we got to see what the Danger Room would look like, and that was like kind of my introduction to stage production because I got into stage production a lot when I was in high school and stuff to that effect, and that was kind of like the weaning of going into it. Nothing unfortunately reciprocated from it, but I mean it was something that was very interesting to me. But okay, so with Fan Expo, that's going to be a lot of fun. Not to get too big, we've fallen off the wagon again.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, actually, you know what? Just following up on your last point there, Todd. You know, not a lot of people know this actually, but you know the National with Peter Mansbridge?
No.
Yes.
It's the National CBC.
Yeah. Okay.
It's actually shot at CBC.
Oh my god!
A lot of people don't know that. And the room that they shoot it in, the studio,
right?
It's actually a studio room.
Oh,
at
right.
CBC, yeah.
Now, who plays Mansbridge?
Peter Mansbridge does.
So
check that out.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's on Wikipedia. So
okay, we got to believe it.
Everything on Wikipedia is real.
Yeah,
yeah, including the Skinwalkers and Spring-Heeled Fred.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's definitely going to be great seeing you guys at Fan Expo. We've been wanting to meet you guys for a while in person. I mean, when I pulled the actual numbers from that podcast we did a while ago, we did fantastic numbers across the board, and we had a lot of positive feedback on it. So I hope that reciprocated back to you, that you got a little bit more listeners as well. So I guess we'll end the podcast with this. I got to know, what did you think about Capaldi?
I haven't seen it.
What? Huh? We actually were rushing watching this episode for this question.
I haven't seen it, and Mike.
I only have one favorite doctor, and that doctor is Andrew Chalmers.
Oh my God, he's so sweet.
And I'm going to remain faithful to the Dark Journey Doctor.
He's not cheating with another Scotsman.
No.
No, I'm actually planning on seeing it at
at the cinema.
Yeah, I saw that.
The cinema.
I was at the Cineplex yesterday. I went and seen, I think it was Sin City, and it's like, oh, I can watch this here? I would have totally watched it at the cinema.
Yeah. Well, what did you guys think about it?
It was.
Well, you told me, Tom.
I was rushing watching this episode so I can, have some type of insight. It was pretty good from what I saw most of it. I think I have literally 10 minutes left. I thought it was fantastic. I felt really bad for the T-Rex though. It was just minding its own business. And
Spoilers.
What's that?
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah, we gotta yell spoilers.
River Song.
Now, will this go up today? Probably, Todd. This podcast or following?
Yeah. I have to fix the beginning, but it'll probably be up in about 45 minutes. Maybe.
No pressure. But I don't want to spoil it for listeners. But in case if they are listening, I may have seen portions of the episode, and I'm gonna have to say I was a little bit surprised. And Todd, you can back me up here if you want to. I was surprised that the Doctor is actually the Master.
Yeah.
That was kind of surprising. And then at the end, when the CGI of Cloris Leachman comes in, I thought, really, Moffat?
From the Golden Girls?
Really? Yeah.
You don't need that. Yeah.
No.
He's out of his mind. He had too many mushrooms on the Smoochie set. Sorry about this, guys. Raina, what did you think?
I was actually blown away by Capaldi. My expectations were high, and he met my expectations. I thought he was brilliant.
Have you seen The Thick of It?
No.
Right. You should check that out. That's a satirical kind of government, and he plays Malcolm Tucker, who's a spin doctor. He's a guy that gets all the politicians out of trouble when they've opened their mouth. Just as a side note, he's absolutely brilliant in that. But I am detecting a little bit of an ageism thing going on with this.
They made a lot of reference points to that.
Right.
Because I remember reading about some younger fangirls being upset that, the new Doctor was older, and they definitely played on that. And you know what? I think it needed to happen because Doctor Who isn't about being sexy. Doctor Who is about sci-fi and adventure and a really good storyline, not about being sexy. Just me.
Well, I mean, they got to come to terms with it, right? We're living now in a diverse world where we're trying new things as well. I'm sure at some point there's going to be a female Doctor, and I don't know any first-hand information, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think that'd be kind of like, well, it's expected at this point. I think Capaldi did a fantastic job, personally, for a person who is not a Doctor Who fan, and I'm like, I will watch this because he's very relatable to me. I love his eyebrows, though. I had a good laugh at that.
They are great eyebrows. Actually, I was just talking about that, a female Doctor with Roy Miranda, our Sherlock Holmes, and he was quite against it, actually. He was saying, well, you know what, if you get to that point, it's sort of like, well, isn't it just another character if you make it a female and you give it sort of female attributes? What do you think, Andrew?
Oh, wow. I'm on the spot now. This is
Go for it.
Ageism and possibly sexism.
So go ahead and be a sexist.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. I
turn up
really
the volume
appreciate
on the
that.
Podcast, so this is not missed. I'll just turn up
No,
the volume now.
they can edit this out.
Yeah.
Although I know Todd won't because he loves
the drama.
He loves the sensationalism. and Raina will just get angry.
She's angry.
Raina is rad and freaked out. And
what do you think, female Doctor?
I think what they should do is to do it for an episode.
Just as a trial? See how it turns out?
No, not a trial. It could serve as a trial. Sorry, Raina?
Make it a dream sequence.
cheat sci-fi, whatever, retcon it.
Reverse fly around the world and reverse it. No,
fly around the sun and make the Doctor into a woman.
You'll
and then
be
fly
okay.
back around the sun and then make him back to a man.
You're making a Next Generation reference here. I thought you were
exactly. Okay,
I'm not. I'm following your reference that you made.
Oh, okay.
That could work. I think do it for an episode. And see and kind of get it out of everyone's system. But to be honest with you, I don't really see the need for it. I think now there's almost a need to pander to people, because if you don't pander, people are going to accuse you of being sexist. But the bottom line is if Mike and I are, producing the Oprah Winfrey story, we ain't casting Morgan Freeman.
Why not? I believe anything Morgan Freeman says.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Although in our version of the Oprah Winfrey story, asteroids are plummeting down to Earth.
Yeah, and Oprah does fly around the planet.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of pandering that sort of goes on these days to you have to do this because someone's going to do that. And I really think that...
Would you be okay with a Scotsman relocated to, let's say, Canada?
All right.
Who does an audio version of Doctor Who?
Absolutely against it. I would slap that guy right in the face.
I don't know. I seem to be rather much enjoying the idea personally, but...
Really?
Really, Todd? Okay, we'll do it.
Really?
All right.
That's me getting slapped by me.
That's you.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
I mean...
a female doctor?
Yeah.
I mean, I always... I don't know. As a woman, I'm, well, not just as a woman, but, like, I'm about equality, but I don't really care if it, if the doctor's never a woman, because I enjoy the doctor for the doctor. If they have to make him into a woman in the next regeneration, if he does regenerate, by all means. As long as, as long as she can play the doctor fantastically, I don't care. Whatever.
So you're
That's
saying
my opinion.
Oprah Winfrey would not be a good doctor? Is that what I'm hearing?
Probably not unless she gives me.
If she was played by Morgan Freeman, she would.
I stand by that. If Morgan Freeman was anything, I would always believe it, because I'm a firm believer that when I pass in this world, and when I meet God, and if I know it's Morgan Freeman, I will not be shocked at all.
Yeah,
I'm
I know
a firm
what you
believer
mean.
of it.
I mean, Morgan Freeman is the man. What's your favorite Morgan Freeman movie, sir?
Ooh, that's a tough one, because I like a lot of his films.
Death to Smooch.
Death to Smooch. I liked him. I actually liked him in the movie Kiss the Girls. Which was a thriller. That was
Alex Cross.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Film with Morgan Freeman. But he's done so many different roles, it's kind of hard to pick because he's so diverse in what he does. He does anything from just doing like a voiceover to being something completely serious than just being Morgan Freeman. There's no other way to put it for me. If he became a doctor, that probably would win the internet.
Right.
That would break the internet right there.
Oprah as his companion.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it could be worse than the alternatives nowadays, because it could have been like, well, here's Morgan Freeman. You're like, this is awesome. And the companion will be played by Kim Kardashian. No!
Yes, in a one-piece jumpsuit that doesn't flatter her. It's too saggy. Yeah.
Why do we go?
I know.
Okay, well, guys, it's definitely been a pleasure having you guys on the show, and now I'm pretty much scarred from that. So
yes, yeah. Mike and I want to go on record and say that we will supply the fees for all your medical bills.
Yes,
I was going to say therapy after this.
Therapy, yes.
As Morgan Freeman says, it's a lot harder to go on living than go on dying.
Oh.
Did he say that?
No, something like that. I don't know.
Or about a penguin.
Yeah, about a penguin.
About a penguin, or a guy breaking out of jail.
Yeah, or asteroids crashing down to Earth.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Guys, it's definitely been a pleasure. If this last time, we will ask you again. I'm sure Rainer would be more than happy as well.
The Chimichanga thing?
Oh, yeah. We love it when people say they enjoy Chimichanga. So if you guys could, we will.
Okay.
I want to say thank you for being on the podcast again before we do.
Thank you.
Been a fantastic hour, which had a 20-minute speed bump, but we got there. And it's definitely a pleasure hearing you guys. And we look forward to meeting you guys in how many days now is that? 7 days, Rainer?
Yeah,
I'll see them in 6 days.
Yeah, you'll warm them up, so when they meet me, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, we're fine. We survived Rainer. Everything is good."
Oh yeah,
she wasn't too angry.
No.
Yeah.
If the table gets flipped, that means you've pissed me off.
Yeah. Okay.
What I will do is before you meet them, I will send them a list of buzzwords that they will use when they meet you.
Oh.
All right, if you guys could wrap up this podcast, we would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, so just line read it again, please.
Enjoy your chimichanga.
Enjoy your chimichanga.
Because I screw up lines
Is that what it is?
royally. Okay. Enjoy your chimichanga.
Thank you, guys.
No, let's do it together.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so this is...
but I want you to do it as Morgan Freeman. Is that okay, Todd?
If you can do it, I would be more than happy to listen.
This is... no, I can't do that.
This is Andrew Chalmers. And,
no, that sounds Scottish. That sounds Scottish, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, this is Andrew Morgan Freeman Chalmers of AM Audio and...
Michael Tamburo of AmAudioMedia telling you to...
Enjoy your chimichangas. God live Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Thanks for listening. to the Droids You Are Looking For podcast. Stay tuned for next week's podcast.
Remember, the Force will be with you all.